Welcome to the channel. In this episode, we fight some loose steering as we saw the steering wheel back and forth on some curvy back roads headed to land between the lakes. We'll get to see some incredible wildlife and take some pretty cool trails, so stick around. First stop when we get to land between the lakes will be the nature center. Here they have air conditioning, which will be nice. And then we'll ride over to an area where we should be able to see some elk and buffalo before we set up camp for the night. With any luck, it'll be cool enough that we'll be able to get back into the teardrop. But I kind of doubt it. Anyway, this part of the drive is really going to be excellent. The roads are made for nugget, off interstate, 50 mile an hour, just cruising through the countryside. Here at Land Between the Lakes Nature Center, it was a curvy little road to get here. After we left the Nature Center, we headed towards the Buffalo and Elk Prairie, which is an area you can drive your vehicle through, and if you have any luck, you'll be able to see some elk and buffalo grazing in their natural habitat. Honestly, before this trip, I'd never even heard of Land Between the Lakes, but this place is absolutely incredible. It's 170,000 acres, a true outdoorsman's paradise in western Kentucky and western Tennessee. It's land located between Kentucky Lake and Lake Barkley. I've heard that there's some great trails here, and we're going to check those out while we're in the area. And maybe take Nugget on a little ride. Right way over. Okay, so there is a good end to a cool day at Land Between the Lakes. It's hot. Have I said that in every video? God, you can't understand. But nice ride through the elk and buffalo habitat. I think it's called a trace.
Yep.
I think is what it said on the sign. Anyway, very cool. Really not a lot of people around. I think one car finally just pulled back up, but we've been standing here by ourselves for a while. Anyway. Oop, neither front marker light's working. Back lights are on. One is a little brighter than the other, but it's working. Actually, everything on the left side is brighter. I wonder if that is switch related. See, bright, bright, dim, dim. Hit the brakes, or let off the brakes. Yeah. Turn signals, right? Left. Okay. dim, but it's there. And there. Well, who knows? I have no marker lights in the front. When she turns on the turn signal, both of them work. So it's hard to know exactly what's going on. I don't know. Anyway, if any lights aren't going to work, those are the best ones, I guess. Kind of. Anyway, let's go back to the cabin. I just don't drive at night is the thing. I don't drive at night, and I rarely use my turn signals. Okay, that's not true. I use them intermittently. Our air-conditioned accommodations for last night. We had it cold enough in there to kill hogs. You could have hung meat in there. You can still see, well, you can kind of see the frost on the windows. Yeah. But it rained. It finally rained last night. Poured rain, which cooled things off. I've been fighting this throttle issue I've been fighting it since we left Alaska weeks ago. But it has slowly gotten worse since Colorado. Sticking, I've added another spring, trying to pull it back. Then it gets so tight in the floor, when you're pushing the accelerator down, I get this push, nothing, and boom, and then it goes down. And you might have noticed that in the videos from the buffalo and the elk last night. It was hard to drive there and not freak the animals out and such, but I did. I think we were okay. So this morning I'm up, I'm messing with it again. I might have figured out the problem. I will say I have thought I had figured out the problem 2 or 3 times along the way. So we won't know until we drive. But let me tell you what I did. So my linkage here. You'll recognize from other videos I've been using this spring. And I had hooked it on this and hooked it up here on this brake line. Basically, it wasn't finishing off. It would come back around, but it wouldn't fall back into place as it does now. I had these ordered and I knew I had them, and I finally found them the other night. So I put them on. This is one of those double, a little gas leak there, but it's because I've been pumping on it, messing with it. It doesn't leak any other time, but when I pump it, I start getting a little leak right there. Which probably isn't good, but it is what it is. So I bought this set of springs, these double springs for safety, to have 2 springs. And I put those on. I put those on with this one. I had done one of those with this one. I'd done not this one into it, every possible combination, and it still was not. It would either not return, or it was so hard to push you couldn't smoothly accelerate. And then it occurred to me yesterday. So when that piece down there broke, that pin came out down here, and I was messing with this. Well, it occurs to me you've got another spring. I've got a spring inside of here, right? Well, that spring, as I was putting it back together, I'd noticed, but it hadn't really connected in my brain, that it wasn't compressed well. Like you push the pedal in a little bit before it even touched. So I've been pushing on that spring as I accelerate, pushing the pedal down, but that spring was doing nothing to do that final pull back into place at the carburetor, pull it back to idle. Because as it got close to there, then it wasn't connecting it wasn't touching on its 2 points, so it was fully released in that last little bit. So what I did this morning is I lengthened the linkage from the pedal up to the carburetor, adding more pressure onto the spring that's behind the accelerator. That additional pressure seems to have finished off, seems to have pushed it all the way back to idle. Who knows what it'll do when it gets hot. But for now, because of the added spring down there, without this one, which I was using to pull up, you know, that way to make this connection happen at the end of its rotation. Now that spring in the floorboard is making it come back. In fact, I might not need both of these, but I'll probably leave both of them for safety if I can deal with the pressure of pushing. There was always this little catch when I pushed in on the accelerator. There would be like a little movement, a catch, and then it would go down. There's no catch anymore. It is a simple push. Back up. We're going to take this gravel road and see where it leads here in Land Between the Lakes, which is a very cool, not super creative name for a very neat place. People have gone around, there must be a reason, right? But it's snotty and soupy in there. The throttle's still sticking a little. Is this not the weirdest thing you've ever seen?
Hauled up the rocks, but couldn't pick up your trash.
Picked up the trash, bagged the trash, left it hanging in trees, and over here, And over there, left an entire bag of rocks. No, that's just, well, we will clean up. It's the time to stack up the rocks neatly against the tree. One giant pile.
Tree and one giant pile.
And a tree and a pile.
Would you like a sniff?
It's almost like, no, I don't want to smell.
Sure.
It's just, it's weird.
Oh, come on.
Weird. So I believe this giant hole is going to put an end to our adventure here. If I wasn't pulling the camper and had a friend with a tow rope to see, maybe. But yeah, that's more than I want to stick my camper in. Yeah, that's deep. Well, she did well. I think before I drive off of that, we probably should walk down, just make sure it doesn't dead end right there and I get back to the camper up. Well, I think that's it. I thought this.
Nope, we're not on the road anymore.
There was no other road.
In the field.
We went out of the end of the field and we've gone down this way. It looks like the road goes to the left, but there was no road to the left. So I think this is it, unless maybe people have been driving through this. As you watch me perform a absolutely flawless 14-point turn, a little spoiler. You see what my Scout is backing up through? That dark spot on the ground? Yeah, I think that right there might be the thing that causes me trouble tomorrow morning. My film crew is working overtime today. So while she walks up the road to do another video, this would be an excellent time for you guys to smash that subscribe button to reward her for all of her hard work. So one of the trails had just that huge pond. That had to be the way down to the water. It was, if you follow him on Instagram, it is Scout Piece of Schmidt, or Schmidt, the Scout Schmidt. I'll look it up. Anyway, it's his. Had it in one high instead of one low. So I almost died though. I gotta back down to get my crew. Do it again. So yeah, hit the subscribe button. That'll help out. Are you liking it? I had it in one high instead of one low, so it almost died. Film crew getting a raise tonight?
I'm 2,000 steps.
We did pass a game camera back there in that field. I waved at him. If you own that game camera, drop in the comments and let me know. I don't know where I was. We were looking for water and found nothing. Hope it didn't scare off your deer. Again, my film crew hard at work. Throw away our trash.
Not ours, but.
Came out this morning to get packed up, and I got a bit of a low tire there. I'm not sure if I've punctured it or if it's just been getting low as we travel, and I just noticed it this morning. We had to turn around when we went for that trail ride yesterday, kind of at an old campsite. I might have picked up a nail. Anyway, we're gonna air it up, keep an eye on it today, and see if we can figure out the problem. So I believe I have found the problem. Just running my hands around it. Let's see, where are you at? I don't think that's supposed to be there. Yeah, that screw's not supposed to be there. I can pull it forward, and I've got a plug kit somewhere. I just have to remember where. I also have a spare, but I think I just plug it in place if I can get it moved forward enough to get that screw down low on the tire there where I can get to it. But right now I'm gonna go in and have breakfast because April made bacon, egg, and cheese and ham or turkey, and she made sandwiches that smell good. They have bacon. So I'm certainly not a tire guy, and if you have advice, put it in the comments. But this plugging a tire thing isn't all that difficult. I've done it 2 or 3 times and had success every time so far. Essentially, get something to pull the screw out. Screws out while the air is blowing out. Jam this thing in and out, in and out, in and out. Rough it up really good with the rough one. Put you a one of these into this before you get started, obviously. Center it up good. So then you're gonna rough it up, rough it up, rough it up. Yank this thing back out, put this thing in about 2/3 of the way, and pull it out, pink. And it's split in the bottom, so when you pull it out, it pulls away from the black thing you just stuck in, that plug. And then you cut off the excess. You know, I don't cut super close, but in this case, because the screw is between tread, I'll just cut to the top of the tread and it'll be fine. It'll be fine. We rolled the Scout forward a little bit so I could get to the plug. Right there's the screw head that's in there. And, you know, we just have put 32 pounds of pressure or something in there for now. That'll give us plenty of time to pull this thing out, clean it, put it back in. Pressure will go down, but when I get done, we'll air it back up to, I'm running 35 pounds and everything. This one right here is about 32 pounds, so I'm gonna add a little to it, hoping that there's not another screw. But anyway. All right, so let's get started. Okay, so I've got everything ready. Got this, got my rubber thing in the middle, ready to roll. Here we go. Out in the hole. Twist it good, ream it out good. You know you've done a good job when it's blowing out twice as much air. You just want to rough it up good because you want the glue on that plug to stick. Okay, now I've got my plug ready. I didn't get myself down with good leverage. There's the screw. So it helps if you have a little leverage to push this back in. Okay, I got about an inch exposed. Pull up. Motion that's, don't twist, just straight out, and it pulls out. Leaves that there. Now, just got to cut that off. A utility knife would work too, but ta-da. And now you're plugged. So now all I have to do is top off the air and we're ready to roll. Assuming that was the only screw. I think we'll call it an end to the video here. We are packing up this morning and headed to Mammoth Cave, Kentucky, and then on to Harvester Homecoming in Fort Wayne, Indiana, where my baby Nugget was born. So please consider subscribing to the channel. Thank you guys very much for watching. Ring the bell if you enjoy the videos. Leave us a comment if you have questions, and we will see you on the road.